Hey y'all, this is Joe from St. Bernard Acres again, here in Wheeling at Joe's Pallet World. Originally tonight, this is Monday, April 30th. Yesterday's video I put up, I mentioned I would try to put a video up tonight building a dust bath for the girls, and I thought about that, and I'm going to do one, but I can't do one and get it edited and all that kind of stuff and put it up tonight. So I'm going to do something else for you if you are interested in it. I'm going to build the chicken coop and shoot video, or chicken coop. Duh, I already have one of those. I'm going to build the dust bath and videotape all of it. But it's going to take me a bit to get it all edited and all that kind of stuff, and I won't have time to do that and get anything uploaded. So what I'm going to do instead, last weekend, Gail and I went to the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. That's where they shot Shawshank Redemption. One of most everybody's one of their favorite movies. Just fantastic. And I don't know how many of you know this, but I am a huge Stephen King fan. I have read everything Stephen King, all the way back from the first book I read of Stephen King. I think it was in 1978. I was in Chillicothe, Ohio. I was in a drugstore. I was looking at paperbacks. I was looking for something to read. And I saw a book called Salem's Lot by this guy named Stephen King. And I obviously assumed it had something to do with the witch trials in Salem, Massachusetts. You know, that was my thought when I picked up the book. Little did I know what it was, and that I would immediately become hooked on this guy, Stephen King, and started reading his stuff and read The Shining. You know, I read Carrie. I mean, all these books. The Stand is without question one of the top 3 books forever in my favorite books that I've ever read. The Stand will always hold a place in the top 3. So, anyway, to get back to my story, Shawshank Redemption was actually, and don't quote me on this because I'm not sure which book it was, but I bought a collection of short stories, and it may have been one called Night Shift, and there were a lot of short stories in the book. The movie Trucks with Emilio Estevez, that was in that book of short stories, where all the trucks like come to life and they hold people prisoners, they're hostages and stuff. That was in there, and there was also a short story called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption Center. So that's what the book or the movie came off of. It was never a full Stephen King novel. It was just a short story that he then later wrote the script for. So there's a little history of Shawshank Redemption. The prison where it was filmed, the Ohio State Reformatory, is long closed, but it's obviously open for tours. And there are some you will see, and I didn't shoot any video there. I took a lot of pictures. So what follows will be a slideshow of pictures that I took inside the prison. There are some that deal with the movie that you will recognize from the movie, and some that are just, you know, things from the prison itself, because the prison has a long storied history in itself without the movie. The cells that Red was in and Andy Dufresne was in, those aren't in the prison there. They were built in a separate building in Mansfield because they needed they needed to be facing, you know, cell blocks. And Mansfield, the Ohio State Reformatory, is not set up that way. So they built a cell block, you know, a model off of this. And that has since been torn down. I don't think people realized the popularity, what was going to happen with that movie. So all of that stuff had been torn down. You will see Brooks's room where, you know, he wrote up there, Brooks was here, and then so was Red. You'll see the warden's office. It was pretty cool because in the warden's office, you know, I was in there and I opened up the safe and the Bible was in there where Andrew Dufresne had written on it, you know, "Dear Warden, you were right, salvation lie within Andy Dufresne," after he took all the money and you know, booked. That was in the safe, so I took it out and took a picture. You know, you open it up and right there it is. So I took a picture of that. And sitting in the warden's chair, the parole office they used there, I've got pictures of that. And then a lot of the very scary prison. Ghost Hunters or one of those shows did a thing there. And in the chapel, I've got a few pictures inside the chapel area where they said they saw a female apparition or whatever they're called, and you know, they heard voices and footsteps and stuff throughout the. We didn't hear anything. Gail and I were very fortunate. We got there at 11 o'clock Sunday when they opened. And we drove out there Saturday, spent the night, because in Mansfield they have the Shawshank Trail, which you can follow along in your car to the different buildings, locations they use for shooting. You know, the grocery store, the pawn shop, the bus station, the bank, and you can visit those places. They're not set up anymore. Like, I mean, what they use for a pawn shop is a thrift store, you know, that kind of stuff. So when we got there, we decided not to do the Shawshank Trail part of it. We decided to just do the prison tour. It opens at 11 on Sunday, so we were there at 11, which was really cool because it was basically just me and Gail, and we took the self-guided tour, so you're just totally on your own. And it was really neat to do it that way, because as we were leaving, the last place we went to was the warden's office, because we missed it. And we had to go out and say, where was the warden's office? We went to it, so we went back in, and that's why I was able to get in the safe, take the Bible out, do sit in his desk, you know, because it was just the two of us. But I left the room. As Gail was coming out, there must have been a tour group of about 60 people heading into that office. So I'm really glad we did it all by ourselves, without a group. But another thing I wanted to mention about it, you will see some pictures of a gate. I'm standing in front of a gate, and you see just the gate like standing out there on its own. That was the gate that General Braddock was released through in Air Force One, because they shot that scene there, and they shot the scene inside the prison. They mentioned that they had 250 extras that night when they shot that whole prison scene, and none of the extras got on film. All you saw of the extras was all of them doing their cups on the bars or whatever as they released that general in Air Force One. So that was shot there. And in the souvenir shop, we stopped, you know, get a couple t-shirts and stuff like that for people. There was a t-shirt that said, "I escaped from Blood Prison." And I'm like, what is this? You know, it didn't mean anything to us. I thought it was a stupid t-shirt. You know, we bought a t-shirt that was, you know, Brooks was here, so was Red. Alex won that. Gail got one with, you know, there's always hope. You know, you keep hope alive. You know, that kind of stuff. Well, we got up to pay for the stuff we'd bought, and there was a poster there with Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone. And then it dawned on me. That was filmed there, Tango and Cash. And they called it Blood Prison. That was filmed in there. And you'll see a couple pictures of me inside a cell, like probably not the one they used, but exactly one like they used. You can see how small they were. And I'm sitting there on the bottom bunk, and I'm thinking of when Sylvester Stallone was laying down and the big fat guy, or no, Kurt Russell was laying there and the big fat guy was on the top bunk. And how it came down, and Kurt Russell was just like this, trying to punch the guy to get him to move. But that was shot there. And I didn't get pictures of it, but I noticed as we were going through one of the cell blocks, this gold painted toilet and sink. I'm like, it didn't mean anything to me. I later found out that Lil Wayne had had done a video in there, a music video. So he painted stuff gold. It's a pretty cool tour. I highly recommend if you're in the Mansfield area. For us, it was a day trip, but we wanted a night away from here and away from the dogs, and Alex happened to be in town, so we took advantage of Alex as a dog sitter and got the hell out of Dodge. But I hope you enjoy the slideshow that follows. Sorry for rambling on so much, but I wanted to set you up with what it was. And because I didn't get to shoot any video there, like I said, we just took pictures. So we'll let the slides speak for themselves. And I hope you enjoy it. And I will be back later with a video on how I build a nice little covered, protected dust bath for the chickens. We'll get that video put together. Nick's going to hold the camera a bit and videotape me as I'm building and explaining what I'm doing. Because I got a couple comments. Don't do voiceovers. They like this chat, this sit down and the spontaneity and the ramblings that I get into. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the slideshow. Hope y'all had a happy Monday, because I sure didn't. I'm so sore from work. I hate it so bad. But enjoy the slideshow, and we'll be back at you later. I'm out.